Morning, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Wes's Angling. So as promised, we're back at Stoat Hall again this week, and guess what we're going to fish? Yep, we're going to fish the Specimen Lake behind me with one thing in mind, and that's catching a sturgeon. Now, you know how specimen fishing goes. It might not be an action-packed video this, but hopefully we get something for you. I don't know what the carp go to in here, but I'm guessing like most specimen lakes, they probably go to, I don't know, mid-20s, something like that. I've just seen a bit of a swirl on the top over there. Well, I've just cut the video off there because I've just been speaking to the owner. Sturgeon go over 20 pound in here, and there's two of them. There was one out yesterday and one out at the weekend. There's a smaller one and a bigger one. Really nice bloke actually, the owner. So he was talking to me, and a bit of information for you if you want to come and fish it. This left hand side, which is nearer the car park side, that's shallow, and then it goes deeper towards this side over here. Now it's been a bit cooler, so what I might do is potentially fish down this side, but I'm not so sure. I might have a cast around with a deeper, do a bit of cheating and see where the fish are. So if I set my rod up with a deeper, and it might just save a lot of time. Obviously we're only fishing it for a day session, so we need to do whatever we can to get you a fish, don't we? Like I said, sturgeon just hug the edges and they literally go around the lake in circles. What I was going to do is I was going to fish it, feed fairly light, so I was going to just use little small PVA bags full of 4mm pellets, and I've also got a heavy duty method feeder set up, which is like an old school carp method feeder, which I'll show you the full setup before we get fishing. But yeah, this is the lake. £10 for 2 rods. Like I said, owner was really friendly, which is always nice. He was talking to me about, you know, digging the lake and things like that, but he said people try and come and fish on here with float. So he said the last sturgeon that they had out had 6 hooks in its mouth, because obviously you know what sturgeon are like. If you've ever hooked one, it's like hooking the bottom. So I'm going to get the deeper out quickly. I'm going to have a cast around and see if I can see anything on the deeper. This is a tackle that I'm going to be using. I've got my Penn Affinity reels, and then I've got 2 1/4 test curve Grace Prodigy rods, which are a heavy duty specimen rod. They're not full carp rods. I think they're going to be strong enough for you. The carp go to 22 pound. Like I said, I knew they'd be mid-20s, but there's my deeper. This is the rod that I'm going to be casting it around with. I'm going to get this set up and then we'll have a cast about. Alright, so I just got, how I attach my deeper on, I've just got some 30 pound braid. And what I do is just tie a big figure-of-8 loop knot in the line. I'm going to do a couple of these as well. I'm not just going to do one. Let the knot down, and one more just in case it was to come undone. There we go. And then what I do, pass that through, back round, and there we go. That's the deeper on, and it's ready to go. 2 minutes of a job. There we go. We've got our app open, so you've got to join it as a Wi-Fi. That's how you connect to it. So let's start on this side, guys. Let's get the app back open. So putting it in the water actually turns it on. There we go. So we're connected. Tell it that you're on shore. It's looking for GPS now. And there you go, it's mapping the lake already. So I'm just gonna drop it down this margin. There's some bubbles coming up here actually. Is there anything in the margin? We'll cast that out. Nice little underarm. And then what we'll do is we'll pick this up for you so you can see, and we'll slowly retrieve that. So that's 1.5 meters deep there. So there's plenty of fish there. But there was fish in the middle. So there's a few in the shallower areas, mid-water though, but I'm sure that they did go down to feed. Oh, fish on the bottom there. And then it drops off really shallow there, about 1 meter. So they're just on the drop off. There's 2 fish on that side there already. Oh my gosh, there they are. Wow. So they're on the opposite side over there. Look at that, guys. Look at how many fish are there. And that's 2 meters deep. So that's off that opposite bank. Wow. Yeah, they're on the other side. Right, so anywhere. Oh my god, look at them all on the bottom there. Look at that. That's absolutely nuts. Oh my god. So anywhere from basically that peg out, that's where we're fishing. I'm not even looking at the other side of the lake. So as you can see from that, all the fish are hugging that opposite side of the bank between them 2 trees over there. I bet there was 15 fish all congregated on that side. So just shows you, you've got to be on the fish, haven't you? And I was going to fish here. I was going to fish on the opposite side where there were nothing. So it can be a really good tool, especially when it's quiet like this and there's nobody around to moan at you for casting a deeper in. Let's get fishing. I'm going to get set up and I'll show you the setup and the rigs that I'm going to be using today. This is the setting and where we're going to be staying today. I'm going to stay as long as I can. Brought some food with me and a big flask. Just parked behind my peg. Also guys, what do we think of this, eh? Branded. Westies Angling merch. Probably jumping the gun a little bit, but hey, well. Got the rods set up and together. Just using these sticky baits wafters. I'm going to use a pineapple on one and the krill on the other. 12mm. And I've just tied up a short turbo German rig. So all it is, it's just a length of braid with a figure of 8 loop knot in the end, and just tied directly to a swivel, a Ronnie swivel. Got a little bit of rig tube in there, and then I've got basically a hook stop, and I've got the bait attached to the hook there with a bait screw. Got this set up. It's a semi-fixed running lead system with, I've only got about 1.5 foot of rig tubing on it. That's basically semi-fixed, so if a fish bolts, this lead's going to come off. And I've got that with a quick change swivel, so I'm just going to hook that on there, and then I pull this little bit of rig rubber that I've got on the quick change swivel, and that'll just secure it in. On the other one, I've just got a little carp method feeder hook link, which is tied with braid, and again to a quick change swivel, and this is a beefed up method feeder for carping, so it's a little bit heavier, and again this just pulls out if you get a take as well. And again, size 8 hook. This one's an ESP hook and the other one I think is a Fox. Curved hooks. I don't know if you can see this on the GoPro, sorry about the geese. I don't know if you can see this on the GoPro, but I've got a sliding D-rig on this one, so that should work perfectly for carp or sturgeon sucking and blowing the bait out. We're going to get a self-hooking. 12-pound main line, and like I said, just a short length of rig tubing, and that's tungsten rig tubing, so it just pins it to the bottom. And where it says bait up there on the method feeder, that's where we're going to put our hook bait after we put some of this ground bait and pellet mix that I've done on. So it's a nice bright ground bait and pellet mix, and that should stick nicely around here. So this one I'm going to put further out, closer to the middle, and then we'll get our drag right. We'll sink our line. Just need to loosen that drag off. There we go. Tighten it up a bit. That's pretty tight, so I'm going to have to be straight on that if we get a take. There we go. That's the second rig locked and loaded. So I've just got a little bit of rig rubber on there just to stop the hook length coming off the quick change. And then I've double passed this hook through the PVA, and it's not going far out at all. I don't think the fish are far out. Sturgeon tend to hug the margins. Just want a little bit of warning. Right, I need to get this out quick now before that PVA dissolves. That's where I'm fishing. I'm not fishing far out. Those reels don't have a bait runner, so what I've done is I've just slackened the drag off just light enough so that the fish could take line. And that is all there is to it, boys. We're fishing. I've got a big specimen net set up. I'm going to get my carp cradle set up now. Hopeful that we're going to catch something pretty quick, but it's specimen fishing, so I can't promise anything. It might be a bit of a boring video, so I understand if you don't want to watch it all the way through, but I'll try and keep it entertaining and catch some fish, and fingers crossed a sturgeon. My favourite fish, sturgeon. Absolutely amazing creatures, and they feed like nobody's business as well, so I'll be shocked if we don't get one. All the fish seem to be on this side. There's a couple of the fellas just come on and they're setting up on the opposite side. Well, it's give a sunny day on the weather forecast, but it's really clouded over, which is good. It's good for the fishing. Rods have been in a quarter of an hour now. Not had anything as of yet. Like I said, it'll be a waiting game today. I'm probably going to recast maybe every hour and a half, something like that. Two blokes across from me, they're fishing on the method feeders, normal method feeders. Don't know whether they're fishing heavy enough, to be honest with you. I don't think, if they hooked a sturgeon, I don't think they'd have a chance of landing it, to be honest, looking at the setup. But there you go, fingers crossed we get a fish. I'm fishing plenty heavy enough. 12-pound main line, and the hook links about 15 pound. One's coated braid and one's a supple braid for the method feeder. You need the supple braid for the method feeder just for the flexibility, and the fish won't detect it as easily. But on the right hand side I'm using coated braid because it's a stiff rig mechanism, so you need that stiff coated braid to help the hook turn and spin on the swivel into the carp's mouth or sturgeon. Plenty of topping and activity in this peg. I've got my rod set right back. Just got probably about 2 foot of the rods up hanging over the water. I wanted to be stealthy. Like I said, I'm not fishing far out at all. 4 foot on that left hand rod and maybe 10 foot on the right hand rod. Hopefully they don't interfere with each other. I'll have to be really careful when I get a fish close in. If I get a fish close in. Can't promise anything. Yeah, so PVA bags, krill pellets, and there's a few Robin Red in there as well. What I'll probably do is keep the krill rod in the margin for the sturgeon, and the method feeder rod I'll cast maybe 3 or 4 foot out further every single time, working my way towards the middle, and I think that's going to give us the best chance of getting a fish. I can't do anything more than that. I don't want to be recasting as often as I would with the method feeder normally. There's a lot of bait goes out with one of those carp method feeders, and in this mix I've got some attractant as well, which I forgot to put on, but I'll put some of that krill attractant on. the wafter. But this is the method feeder mix that I'm using. So it's just a mixture, 4 mils, 2 mils, sweet pellets. I've got some tiger nut pellets in there, 4 mil tiger nuts, 2 mil F1 sweet, and some F1 sweet ground bait. And I've just put a little bit of a sweet attractant in, that's why it's this orange colour. And hopefully that'll stand out against the lake bed. There's a couple of fellas just set up next to me. If you haven't seen the previous Stoats haul video that I did on the fishery reviews, I'll put a link in the top right hand corner for you. But it's been quiet so far, not had anything. I've set a timer on my phone to recast in about an hour, so I'll just keep trying. I might put both rods on the krill wafters because that'll give us the best chance of having a sturgeon. I'm not sure if the sturgeon would take pineapple wafters or not. Tell you what, this wind's really starting to pick up. It is blowing in my direction, which is always a good sign. Right guys, so my timer was bleeping away. The rods have been in about an hour and a half, so I've decided to have a bit of a recast. So I've just put a fresh PVA bag on this right hand rod. I've also swapped it to another turbo rig rather than having the method feeder. So I'm fishing both rods the same, both on krill, and I'm just rebaiting up with the PVAs. Sinking my line, fishing in roughly the same spot there. It's not a big lake at all this, so it's not going to be far off. So just test the drag. That's perfect. You want to be able to pull line off without moving the rods. So I'll reel this one in, that's right down this margin here. And I'll show you the rig again quickly. We'll swap out this wafter and put a fresh one on. I'm sure that it'd still have a lot of attractant in it, but we might as well. Take me years to go through this full tub of wafters. So that looks perfect. This is actually a really good rig. If you try it on your palm, it flips and turns every single time. So I'm just drying it off against the chair, and then we'll put a PVA bag on it. And this time I'm going to put a little bit of that krill attractant on, or a bit of the glug. So I've double hooked that through, turn the hook and hook it back round through the mesh again. Just make sure that that wafter's not going to flip around and hook on the point. And then without getting it all over my hands, I'm just going to pour a tiny bit of this glug on the hook bait and the PVA. And we'll just drop this back in the margin. So I'm just going to lower it down just off the drop off that we saw on the deeper before. Lay it flat. And there we go. It went right under that aerator thing there.
All right.
Well, I'm chuffed with that.
Oh, good lad.
Look at that thing, yeah? Wow. Try and lift it out of here. What a fish, eh?
Yeah, isn't it?
I think it is that, about 4 foot long.
Yeah. Yeah, bloody prehistoric looking, aren't they?
Oh, they are, yeah. Right, I'll put it in the water. Look at this, yeah, this is what it was hooked on.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's come from.
The cable, is it?
For the aerator?
Yeah. Usually has it tucked in the corner down
Yeah, it shot right over under there, but
right.
I'll put it in the water. Well boys, we've come for it, and we've got it. Can't believe it. I'm going to weigh it. Oh, it shot straight for that aerator and actually got tangled up around the rubber cable. I was lucky to get it out, to be honest. But I'm going to weigh it. It's definitely over 20, I think. Alright, let's get it out. Hooks. Lines are in there. Okay. Oh dear. Let's lift it out. What a beautiful fish. Good job I brought this big weighing net, isn't it? Right, so that's zeroed. Obviously I'll weigh the net after it, but let's see what it weighs. It's 21 pound. Oh. 21. Yeah, 21. So with the weigh sling, it's probably 20. Whew. Show you it up close. The heads are rock hard and they feed. There's the bottom of the mouth and the bottom feeders. You can tell by the way that they're shaped, but they're rock hard, very bony fish. As you can see, they do the death roll as well, especially when they're hooked. But this problem's probably not far off 4 foot. But look at them colours in there. Bronzes. Very nice grey colour. Gorgeous. Look at the patterns on the head there. Very prehistoric. I'll just let it recover a minute. Water's really warm. Just let it recover. There we go. Epic. Well boys, I don't know what to do with myself now. I've caught the fish that I've come here for. That's the biggest in the lake, at just over 20. Apparently there's a smaller one in here, which is around 15 pounds, maybe just a bit more. But let's try for a carp. I might swap out the krill wafter and put pineapple wafters on, and we'll see if we can get ourselves a carp instead. Apparently some grass carp in here as well, which I didn't know about. That'd be a new fish for me, a grass carp, if I could get one of them. Not sure really how to target grass carp, whether it, be corn. I think they fish with tiger nuts and stuff like that for grass carp as well. Very finicky feeders. But that sturgeon actually bent my hook out. So fox armour points and it's literally bent the hook. So they are a powerful fish. Very lucky to get one, I think. Especially the first time coming here for you. But I'm glad I did. Shows you that the techniques worked. And we've got the fish that we come here to target. So let's see if we can get another. I'm going to leave the right on rod out. And we'll get it back out in the same spot. Well, I'm genuinely still in shock that we had that fish within a few hours. That's awesome. What do you think, boys? Was it skill or was it luck? Comment below. Or was it? the West is angling. Lucky hoodie. Who knows? All I know is I'm going to try for another one. Maybe a carp this time. I've put a pineapple wafter on the left hand rod. Still got krill on the right hand rod. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have one more fish before we pack up. But if we don't, I'm genuinely not bothered. Come here to catch a sturgeon, and I've got a sturgeon. I am over the moon. So guys, the bottom's very clayey and silty, so I'm glad I've gone for this brown rig tubing and brown hook link. I think it'll blend in well. So this rig's been in about an hour and a half, something like that. So I'm just going to put another wafter on, put another PVA bag out and get it back out. So as I was saying to you before, sturgeon normally patrol the edges of lakes, and believe it or not, that's where I got that sturgeon then. So it was right in the margin, probably only 3 foot out from the rod tip, and that was on the krill wafter. I've got one rod further out for the carp, also with a krill wafter on, so I was just hedging my bets, you know, that one might be in the deeper waters. But if you want to target sturgeon specifically, close in's probably your best bet, because all they'll do is circle the lake and they'll hoover up any food that's in the margins. That one's shot straight for the aerator, so aerator pegs might be a good shout. Sturgeon are bottom feeding fish, so you won't catch them up in the water, so you have to be using bottom bait rigs, because obviously the mouths are located on the bottom of the fish, like I showed you. Fishy baits, meaty baits for sturgeon. That's why the krill was my choice. You're not allowed luncheon meat on here, otherwise I'd have fished probably luncheon meat on a hair or something like that. But these turbo rigs that I'm using at the minute, I think they're called a turbo German rig. It's basically an adapted runny rig for bottom baits or wafters. But yeah, I've just recast the rods back out. I put both back on krill. There was 5 people on here this morning. There's only 3 people left on now. Fishing has been tough, but you know, that's what you expect when you come to a specimen lake. In my fishery reviews video, I give this place a 7 out of 10. Since catching that fish, I might even bump that up to 7.5. But I'm impressed. I didn't think I was going to catch that today, but I'm over the moon. And it just shows you that you've got to be in it to win it. And if you go out with the mind of targeting something, stick to your guns. You know, I saw a bloke catch on the method feeder this morning, and I kind of kicked myself for not fishing the method feeders. But you know, that might work for the carp, but I wouldn't like to hook a sturgeon on the method feeder. I'd just rather have this stronger setup, you know, with 12-pound line and a 15-pound braided hook link, just because they are bony fish. But what a lovely setting it is here. You can park right behind your peg, fish it on a day ticket, or you can bivvy up and fish it through the night if you wanted to. I've been told that there's 18-pound grass carp in here as well. What a lovely quiet specimen water. 3 different lakes here at Stoat Hall. Got 2 match lakes, or pleasure fishing lakes, whatever you want to call them, and then this specimen lake, which is new. I will put the address for Stoat Hall in the description for you. Really impressed with these rods as well, guys. I'll put a link to all the tackle that I'm using in the description. These reels are new as well. I've only just got these second hand, but really good quality, and they're Penn Affinity LTD 7000s, so I think they're the limited editions. Sonic SKX bite alarms, and these absolutely amazing rods, which are meant for barbel, I think. But yeah, so 2 1/4 test curve barbel rods, 12 foot, but they're absolutely beautiful. Really good action, nice bend all the way to the rod butt, but more than powerful enough for this kind of fishing. Well guys, I'm going to call it a day and get packed up there. We've come here for sturgeon, and sturgeon's what we've caught. I've only had that one, but that's more than good enough for me. If I'm being completely honest with you, I didn't expect to catch today, but to come here and catch the target species, absolutely incredible. Can't ask for more than that. The wind's really starting to pick up now. I've had these rods in the margins for, I don't know, 3 hours, something like that. There's fish moving about, but they just don't seem to be feeding. I'm not seeing much carp activity, so I'm going to get packed up now and hopefully miss the traffic. The next video that you see will be another fishery reviews video. I look forward to seeing you in the next Westies Angling.